Hello everyone. In today's video, we'll discuss how to prepare geography for your mains 2019 examination. And in this video, we'll be discussing regarding the syllabus as well as the 2018 mains question, and we'll be analyzing all the previous questions from mains that has been asked from geography since 2013. Right? So first of all, let's start with the syllabus. So as in geography is coming in GS1. And out of the 12 syllabus part, 3 of them is related with geography. Now the important syllabus part, the 3 of the syllabus part, the first one is regarding the world's physical geography. So it will be including things like say climatology, geomorphology, oceanography. All these things comes under the syllabus world's physical geography. And second one is regarding the natural resources and industries. And in syllabus they are giving distribution of key natural resources across the world and factors responsible for the location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries. We are not, if you go through the previous question, the distribution of natural resources hasn't been asked as of now. Rather than from natural resources, questions regarding freshwater resources, groundwater resources, or the resources in the Arctic Ocean, the discovery of oil in Arctic. These kind of things are asked in based on this syllabus part, distribution of key natural resources. And the second one here, the industries, we need to go through different industries and what determines their location. The factors influencing the location has also to be studied. And the third one, there are 2 subtopics in third one. The first one, geophysical phenomena like earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, and most importantly, etc. Right? And this syllabus part, the geophysical phenomena, is actually related with the GS3 also. In GS3 we are studying disaster and disaster management, and I can say that this part is related with the GS3 also, right? Anyway, and as I said here, apart from the events which are given here, earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity and cyclone, those events which are in news, that also we'll be having, from that also we'll be having questions say flooding or say cloudburst. We'll get questions based on these kind of events. Anyway, the second part is the geographical features. The geographical features and their location and changes and effect of these changes. And this syllabus part is more related with environment, right? And recently we are having a question from these parts, right? So these are the 3 main, these are the 3 modules that are given in GS1 syllabus which are related with geography. And going towards the main topic-wise analysis, right? I have included here questions starting from 2013, and the subtopics has been divided into physical geography, resources, industries, geophysical phenomena and geographical features. And first go itself we'll understand that more important area, without failing each year we are having questions coming from the physical geography part as well as from industries and resources also. We are constantly having questions, right? In 2018 1 question came from physical geography and 2 questions from each from resources and industries, and from geographical features we had 1 question, right? So around 75 to 105 questions will be asked from geography in GS1, right? And I'll tell you in GS3 also we are having questions or areas that are related with geography. The questions come from GS3, come in GS3 also, right? So those questions related with say tsunamis, which was asked in disaster management, is not included here, right? So strictly limited to GS1, around 75 to 105 marks you will get from geography. That's the important, right? Out of the 250 marks, around 75 to 105 will come from geography, right? And let's take a look at the previous questions that were asked in 2018, the recent 2018 mains examination. So the first question that is related with the geomorphology or the physical geography, right? Define mantle plume and explain its role in plate tectonics. Okay, nobody expected questions like this to come, right? But from physical geography, geomorphology, we are studying the plate tectonics and the question came from it, right? And regarding the resources, why is India taking keen interest in resources of Arctic region? Now this question is not a conventional question which is discussed in standard textbooks or or NCERTs or anything. Rather than this is more related with recent affairs that are related with geography, right? And for your mains, you should keep in mind those events, related with resources or any other events which are in news that are related with geography. we'll be getting questions based on that. Okay. And the third one, right, another question based on current affair, India is facing, or India's groundwater resource is depleting at an alarming rate, and it was mentioned, or it came in news articles multiple times before this mains examination, and they asked a question regarding the groundwater resources. The ideal solution of depleting groundwater resources in India is water harvesting system. The key idea behind this is India is not a water scarce nation, right? Annually we are getting enough rainfall, but yet we face drought situations, and we face arid and semi-arid climate. So the reason behind, even though we are having surplus amount of annual rainfall, we face water scarcity. The thing is that we are not conserving water, and this question is from that angle. The water conservation can solve the problem of depleting groundwater resources. Right? How can it be made effective in urban areas? Okay, it's a 250 word question actually. Then the fourth question is related with agriculture. You could say I would say it's related with more industries. Since they asked the question from GS1, it's more related with the industry. Defining blue revolution. Explain the problems and strategies of pisciculture development in India. Related with fisheries, right? Again a 250 word question carrying 15 marks. And the fifth question, what is the significance of industrial corridors in India, right? Again another question related with industry, which is again discussed in the NCERT itself, India, People and Economy, the 2000 class 12th textbook, right? What is the significance of industrial corridors in India? Identifying industrial corridors. Explain their main characteristics. Okay. Now the sixth question, what are the consequences of spreading of dead zones on marine ecosystem? And again, dead zones were constantly in news, and for prelims also it was predicted that dead zone was an important topic. And dead zones means regions of low oxygen. Literally marine organisms won't be able to survive in these regions, right? And these were 6 questions out of the 20 questions. 6 questions came from geography in 2018 prelims. Now you might ask which all topics we need to study it. Most importantly, you have to keep in mind, whatever you are studying for your prelims, the same topic is important for your mains also. So when you are studying for your prelims, you should keep in mind you have to study it for your mains also. So while you are studying for your prelims, you should study it you should make these topics in a revisable form, right? You should make short notes, or should either underline, or should separate notebooks related with geography. And before mains, you have to revise these areas, right? And this revision is one of the key areas. So this is one strategy that you have to follow, right? Whatever we are studying for prelims, it should be in a revisable form and should be thoroughly and repeatedly revised before your mains. Because after prelims, right, with the 3 months or the 100 days, it won't be enough for you to completely cover even the optional. Plus you will be having GS2, GS3, GS4. So you won't get enough time to put in geography, right? So in order to come over this difficulty, while studying for prelims itself, make short notes, and those areas those areas from which a mains question can be asked, that you have to expect, right? And such questions should need to prepare mains and an answer, or a general framework of an answer for such question. That expected question should be in your notebook, and that should be revised. Okay. Now another strategies, as I've seen here, we have seen physical geography will be having questions which are strictly we are studying related with for our prelims, right? And then the resources and industries, you can depend on the class 12th India, People and Economy. And if you know that, what happens is that if you have known the textbook, what happens is that you will be able to answer the general questions. And regarding the resources, one of the major areas, or one of the major trends they are following is that what are things that are in news, for example, groundwater depletion in news. They asked a question. Before that, it was the water conservation, or inland navigation, or the discovery of Arctic, oil in the Arctic Sea, or the resources in Arctic. So such kind of questions which are in generally the questions which are in current affairs will be having more chances. They will be having more chances that they'll ask questions based on current affair relevant. Otherwise, the questions will be related with general resource distribution, right? But as of now, the questions, they haven't asked anything regarding distribution, in the sense where are we having more distribution of coal, right? In 2017, the question was related with coal, but they didn't ask the distribution of coal. Rather than the question was like, even though the coal mining is having environmental impact, it's imperative that we India mine coal. So something regarding like, you know, you have to answer, you have to balance between the environmental impacts of burning fossil fuel and the why it is important for India. So the question was related with the resource, but it was not related with the distribution of resources. So for such areas and like, you know, geophysical events, like, you know, we are having questions coming from say flooding, right? Flooding was in news. So events in news that are related with geography and the conventional syllabus, right? This is mandatory, you need to cover it, and these conventional subjects, please make like, you know, short notes while you are studying prelims for your prelims. It will be helpful both for your prelims as well as for your mains. So like the textbook that you need to follow for your mains, like, you know, the same textbook that you are studying for the prelims, like the class 11 fundamentals of physical geography, class 11 physical India physical environment, and for resources and industries like class 12 India people and economy, right? And many other details you'll get from the internet as well as Kochi will help you to like, you know, have a base idea regarding these things, right? Or if you're not, like if you're having access to like our modules, you can subscribe to like our mains module separately, or you can subscribe to our prelims module, right? So it's a compilation of all these things. So importantly, you have to remember that like, you know, this subject demands more effort, right? You know, for prelim as well as for your mains, you will be getting questions from geography, and if you need to tackle it, we need to move in a systematic way, right? So whatever you are studying for your prelim, as I said earlier, make short notes and stick with it and repeatedly revise it, right? And another trend, like, you know, you can see in the previous question is that they are sort of lifting questions from like the geography optional paper, right? So if you could like, you know, able like, you know, take the compilations of optional papers and like, you know, see those questions that can be asked for your GS1. Everything that is given in an optional paper cannot be asked in GS1, right? So those areas that are discussed in GS1 syllabus also, there are more chances that we get questions based on that, right? So far we have been discussing, right, the things that we need to study. And for your mains, unlike prelim, there is another key element there, which is answer writing practice. Like, you know, the way in which you are writing a geography answer is different from like, you know, the way in which you are writing other answers, because geography is more like, you know, science related subject, and like, you know, you can include pictures, graph and things like that. So try to like, you know, practice answer writing and like, you know, try to get feedback based on answers other than simply studying all these areas, right? You need to understand how it can be presented in a more simpler way, especially from the perspective of like, you know, including map and things like that, right? So practice answer writing plus like, you know, give importance to these areas, and like the previous year current affair, previous year question compilation starting from 2013 to 18 will be available under this description, right? So go through those questions and you'll understand like, you know, the way in which they are asking questions, and similar areas when you're going through the syllabus, similar areas from which they can ask mains questions. Please expect that those areas and include those topics into the short notes which I earlier mentioned in this video.